Bizarre historical laws that actually existed pre-1900 edition. Before we begin, to support the channel, please like and subscribe. History isn't merely about grand kings and epic battles. Sometimes it weaves tales of absurd laws that leave you questioning lawmakers' sanity. Before the dawn of the 20th century, the globe saw rules that ranged from oddly niche to outright silly. Today, we'll explore some of the strangest historical laws that truly existed. Spoiler, a few sound more like sketches than actual legislation. Absurdities of public life, nuisances and noise. Let's dive into the trivial annoyances of daily living, because it seems lawmakers were quite bored. Consider 17th century Spain. At the royal court, laughter was pretty much forbidden. Yes, laughing in front of the king was deemed tasteless. Courtiers needed to maintain a stoic facade, and a sudden giggle? You could face reprimand, banishment from the king's presence, or receive a withering medieval glare. Just think of the uncomfortable silence at royal gatherings. The Spanish court wasn't alone in its laughter phobia. In parts of medieval Europe, excessive giggling raised eyebrows, perhaps indicating you were possessed. Luckily, TikTok didn't exist then. Those viral challenges might have been deemed witchcraft. Picture this. At a royal funeral in Spain, in 1666, a jester told a joke and was punished not for it, but for his own laughter. Talk about strict giggle enforcers. Now, shoot ahead to London, 1839. The Metropolitan Police Act prohibited unnecessary knocking. In other words, no ding-dong ditching. Kids who thought ringing doorbells was amusing, they were criminals. Moreover, lawmakers outlawed sliding on icy roads. Yes, you could be fined for relishing a snowy day. Essentially, London was attempting to ban happiness. Can you imagine the letdown for children unable to enjoy winter? There were other odd laws in that same act. No awkwardly carrying planks in public. Seriously, you could face a fine for lumber-related offenses. Who knew lumberjacking held such risks? Then, we have the window peephole law in England. Some towns prohibited bay windows as they allowed neighbors too much insight into each other's lives. Forget privacy fences, this was no peeking by law. Just imagine the scandal if your morning routine suddenly became public. Clothing, food, and self-expression. When lawmakers weren't busy outlawing giggles or sledding, they turned their focus to fashion policing. One chronicler humorously stated that a man's wealth could be gauged by how far his shoe points extended into the next parish. What a literal walking status display. Meanwhile, in Russia, Tsar Peter the Great found beards outdated. So he implemented a beard tax. Men wishing to keep their facial hair had to pay and carry a special token saying the beard is a superfluous burden. Without this token, police could shave you publicly. Can you fathom the embarrassment of getting shaved in the town square? Some of these tokens still exist in museums today. They're essentially the earliest beard licenses. Who knew facial hair could come with such regulations? And we can't overlook England's anti-French laws. During conflict, importing French wine, clothing, or even cheese was forbidden. At times, even sporting French-style attire was unacceptable. Forget cancel culture, this was an entire nation's fashion boycott. Can you visualize the fashion upheaval? In 1793, London papers ridiculed French wigs so rigorously that donning one in public became an instant ticket to harassment. What a wig scandal. criminalizing poverty and disability. Not all peculiar laws carried humor, some bore cruelty. Consider the ugly laws of late 19th century American cities like Chicago and San Francisco. These decrees made it illegal for individuals with visible disabilities to show themselves in public. Chicago's 1881 law grotesquely referred to people as unsightly objects. Just imagine being fined simply for existing. Can you bear the pain and humiliation this inflicted? Then there were vagrancy laws, prevalent in both Europe and early America for centuries. Being unemployed or homeless could see you arrested just for existing. Yes, poverty itself was criminalized. Can you imagine the despair of being apprehended for simply being poor? In England, vagrancy laws were so severe that even jobless actors were labeled as vagabonds. So, technically, Shakespeare's peers were criminals. What a tough existence. Now, let's revisit the amusing side. Laws surrounding food, animals, and even sports. In certain early American colonies, local officials believed onions could ward off illness. They mandated the growing or consuming of onions as lawful. Forget an apple a day, think an onion by law. Not the best recipe for fresh breath. Imagine the onion breath lingering at town meetings. In some towns, onions even became payment for rent when cash was low. Imagine your landlord accepting 2 sacks of onions in place of money. What a pungent payment system. In Victorian England, laws prohibited being intoxicated while managing a cow. Yes, you couldn't stroll your cow when tipsy. The same went for carriages and steam engines. Apparently, a drunken man leading a cow was as hazardous as a drunken man operating a train. Can you imagine the chaos of a rowdy cow parade? Meanwhile, in England's common law, the Crown deemed ownership of royal fish, whales, and sturgeons. If you caught one, the king received the head, while the queen claimed the tail. Can you envision the royal fish banquet? In 2004, a dead whale washed ashore in Wales, and technically, it still belonged to the Crown. Yes, the Queen had legal ownership of whale remains in the 21st century. What an odd royal legacy. And finally, let's highlight the football ban from the 14th century. King Edward III prohibited soccer, believing it distracted men from archery practice. Can you picture the uproar among soccer fans? This law wasn't a one-time affair. It saw renewals by various kings. Clearly, medieval rulers were obsessed with archery homework. What a bizarre royal ban on kicking a ball. Conclusion. So there it is. Laws banning laughter, regulating onions, determining shoe length, beard styles, and even whale ownership. Some were comical, some harsh, and some just left you scratching your head. They remind us that history isn't solely about grand events and royal escapades. Sometimes it captured lawmakers fretting over the dangers of winter sliding or drunken cow strolls. And next time you find yourself laughing too heartily, wearing pointy shoes, or petting a cow after a drink, just remember, at one time, these actions might have been deemed illegal. If you enjoyed our content, please like and subscribe. Please visit our sponsor, threadsofrebellion.com, and use the coupon code in the description for an exclusive discount.